Be ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Everybody's ready.
Is Marco ready?
You don't hear him saying I'm ready?
Estoy listo.
No habla en español.
Yeah, let's keep it to English because I don't know how to. Okay, so to start off the session, I was hoping one of you would be up for basically recapping what happened at the end of last session and um, basically what you have learned since returning to Sandpoint and taking the time to fully look through everything you came back with.
Not it.
I mean, I can try, but I'm probably gonna forget shit. If anyone wants to help, can this be a team effort?
Team effort sounds good.
Well, I know that Glitter read through all the things that he learned about.
So yeah, last session we
And-
finished killing all the gobos, and we murdered some other shit that Nualia had created and released and shit. We read her papers and found out that boo-hoo, she was too pretty, so people made fun of her apparently for being too pretty, which is dumb, I think. But yeah, she was, and then like as a big fu to like beauty and shit, she like turned to the dark side and filled the void and got
Let's
revenge on
also
everyone.
state here it wasn't a boo-hoo, you're too pretty. It's that people treated her like she was some basically like fertility goddess or something because of her like.
Sure. Yeah, so she was like pretty much abused because people were like, "Oh, your hair can help me get pregnant. Give me your hair." And then her dad was like owning her sexuality and being creepy as fuck and not letting her have sex because she's supposed to be a virgin or something. And then
He wanted her to join a convent, basically, like a really
Mhm.
prestigious convent. Since obviously he was like a priest, he's wanting her to like semi follow in his footsteps. So he's like, "You're gonna go to this like super prestigious convent," which obviously, of course, you need to be a virgin for.
And then Nuali got knocked up. And at this part, I can't really remember. Did she have a miscarriage, or did she like
Yes.
purposely,
Well,
or
she
did someone like fuck it
basically
up?
no, no one like fucked it up or did anything, but she basically had like a miscarriage and had a stillborn child. But it was very far along, so it came out as a stillborn. It wasn't like an early miscarriage. So she gave birth to the child, but it was a miscarriage and it was stillborn.
Yeah, and then when I read that, I thought it was connected to that image we saw of the thing sacrificing the kid or something. So I'm like, ooh, maybe that was because she's like all pissed off at like people that give birth now and stuff because she didn't.
Well,
get to or
hint,
something.
hint. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You guys are past this, but basically, there were hints in there about her and I forget the dude's name that she was having whatever that she got pregnant by. They were going down that smuggler's tunnel below the sand works. And that's where the child was actually conceived, and they actually conceived her near a shrine to Lamashtu.
Oh, so maybe that's why the baby got all fucked up because Lamashtu
I
was
think,
like,
yeah, that's the insinuation, is that because it was conceived like near the shrine to Lamashtu, that Lamashtu kind of had like influence over the creation of the child and created this like kind of horrific monstrous baby. And so when it said like she was stillborn, that the midwives like rushed it away very quickly to go be burned, basically because it was very hideous and monstrous.
Delic. His name is Delic.
Yeah, Delic. Anyways, moving on.
And yeah, then after we found all that, we went back to town and lugged all our treasures back, and then we each purchased and sold some stuff. I think that pretty much, unless I forgot something. We have yet to like. I didn't remember if you said like we reported this stuff all. Did we do that?
Yeah, so you
Okay.
guys basically reported to the sheriff like everything you had learned and gave him all of basically after you guys went through all of this information and discovered like the whole plot behind it and like that she was the one behind all of the attacks on Sandpoint and she was doing it because she was trying to get back at Sandpoint and yada yada. After you guys kind of uncovered the whole plot, you would have gone to the sheriff and like given him
Oh
all of
yeah, and then
the
we're gonna go murder the Father Xantus because he's clearly evil. Because he was interested in all
oh
the
my
evil
god.
artifacts. So that's on the to-do list.
I would like to remind you
Mm-hmm.
that most priests they aren't necessarily devoted to one like sometimes they're devoted to one specific god, but they still like they still what is the word I'm going for? Have knowledge and respect for all of them.
That's
They they
cool. You
they
can respect
consider
them in
them
the grave.
all okay. Well,
I'm
if you
walking
want to
in the
go kill the
temple
fucking
and
priest,
yeah,
that's
I
on
will.
you, Jesus.
I will. I will declare he is a worshiper of Lamashtu and drag
But
his body through the streets. Old
right,
fashioned witch hunt.
that horse could probably pull his
Good
body
luck
through
with
the
that.
streets pretty easy.
I don't need
I do
luck.
want to do want to say that
Don't let me sick the
Glitter feels
town.
sorry for Nualia. I mean, he knows that she was like evil and stuff, but he feels sorry for her too. So he actually creates a tragedy about.
You feel so sorry for her, but yet I was the only one who tried to spare her life.
To be fair, I wasn't there.
True. You were running and cowering the whole time. Like a pussycat.
How dare you use a racial slur against the cat folk?
That was out of character, so that's okay.
He dares.
All right, we're gonna go over like what each person like decided to
Yeah,
pick up
so
and
now
stuff. Or...
basically I want each of you to talk about just a little bit about what your character has done since getting back to town, what you think of everything, and what you've purchased. Fucking laugh at me.
No, I just saw Gingy's comment in Discord. Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Sorry. Someone else go.
Well, I upgraded my armor.
Ooh, what armor did you get?
Well, I think both Gingy and I went to the same. I think we both went to the same person to get our armor because we both bought Kiko.
We did.
What kind of armor is that?
We had a
for those of
bestie
us that don't
shopping
know?
day.
Kiko armor is an Oriental style armor.
Okay.
It's basically like it's like a leather, almost like a leather. What would I say that? Almost like a leather tunic, but it's got hexagonal like plates sewn in.
That's cool.
It's pretty expensive. I also bought two donkeys, which are named Jimbo and Socks. We all chipped in, bought a covered wagon. Inside the wagon, I have stocked it with a large chest. Inside the chest is 4 bedrolls, a medium tent, 50 feet of silk rope, something called a sun rod, which is something you jab into the ground and it sort of lights up the area, so Marco doesn't stumble around and fall into the fire. There's also a cooler chest, and each of these chests are actually like fastened to the side of the wagon. Inside the cooler chest, 16 days of elven rations. That's enough for 4 days for each of us. 4 canteens of water, which are sealed. And inside the wagon itself are 4 thick blankets and 5 cushions. And I also bought a harness and 2 sets of bit and bridle for the donkeys.
Wow.
That's what I bought, and we're all chipping in. I guess we've all chipped in money, and we've presented Marco with a new greatsword, +1 greatsword. And that's thanks for just standing up front and being the dude who takes all the hits.
All right.
I am done.
Next.
So when we got back to town, Sephra and Glitter had a bestie shopping day. That's where they got the Kiko armor. Sephra also got herself a a new bow. I'm trying to see where that is in my character sheet. It's basically a masterwork strength longbow, is what it is.
Nice, nice.
And okay, so she got those. So she spent like the first day, you know, upgrading her gear and stuff, and then basically after that, she has just gotten blackout drunk every day. Like
Whoa.
she
Jesus.
was pretty shaken by the events of Thistletop, and so she just like has been drinking heavily, probably testing the limits of the Rusty Dragon's hospitality.
All right. Miko's getting kind of worried about you there.
Probably should be.
Who's
Why is she
next?
doing that?
Well, because she is basically some of the things that happened in Thistletop have brought back
Like
some
what?
demons from her past.
Glitter's gonna push. Like what?
Yeah, what's the matter with you, huh?
Well, the thing is glitter. Drinking is really bad for you. Heavily drinking for 2 days straight is something that would concern him.
I mean, so she doesn't really talk about her past. The only one that she's talked about it halfway with is Marco. But basically, she has pretty much got PTSD from uh, the things that she went through as a child. Um, so basically, she is, when she's very like hard on herself anyway. Um, she kind of doesn't know for sure, like, if the group's going to keep her around because, like, when they were fighting Nualia, she ran away. Of course, she was feared, but she feels like she should have, powered through it. I mean, in her mind, even Glitter was able to power through it, even though that was thanks to Ulden's, you know, um, that was thanks to
He
Ulden's crazy.
manhandled me.
Yes, exactly. Sorry, my voice. Anyway, um, so basically, just some of the things that she saw has, brought back, some of her childhood nightmares that she's been having. And the thing is she probably, I would say, is, she relies on alcohol and cat's mint to kind of like get her through things. Like, so she has a flask that she keeps on her that she usually keeps alcohol in just to, like, you know, have a sip or two of, like, if she wakes up with a nightmare, that kind of thing. So just basically, because she had a kind of a rough time emotionally, um, with the Battle of Thistletop, then that is what is behind her drinking.
All right. Olden Marco wants to go next.
I can go next. So, upon returning to Sandpoint, we all apparently went shopping for stuff. As Claire said earlier, everybody pitched in and helped me get a new weapon to help the cause. Um, I also purchased a new armor, upgraded to chainmail.
Ooh.
And of course received the ring from Ulden. After doing all that, he has been mostly hanging around Sephra. He had noticed that on their way back, she had been very quiet. And even before that, when they were down below in the dungeon, um, after defeating Nualia, he noticed that she had the same look as when she first described her past to him, or at least parts of it. So he knew that something was wrong. He's mostly been just sitting by her silently, just waiting for her to say anything so that he could respond. He has tried to coax her to drink something different, but mostly he just sits by her to reassure her.
My turn? Are you done?
No.
Oh, go
Sorry, I had to cough.
on.
And aside from all that, he has been in deep thought and contemplating a lot of things. These are things he didn't necessarily make public to his fellow travelers, but he is really not happy right now. He
Really?
believes that the gods are just a bunch of jokes. They're just jokes. They
Whoa.
serve no purpose in life other than to torment the people. Yeah, he's just upset. He wonders why they even exist if they don't come in and intervene like they're supposed to. Now I'm done.
All right.
Yeah. So when Uldin gets back, I think he's doesn't have to buy much. So I think he's spending most of his time in the church with the Father Xantus to try and murder him. No, because I did give him that book of Lamashtu, and he was supposed to like look into it. So I don't know if you want to RP this or whatever, but I'm gonna ask him like if he's found out anything by the time we've been here. Um, Other than that, the only things that I really specifically buy are I bought all these platinum rings and I gave everyone one. And I bought a bunch of like just spell component kind of stuff. Nothing special. But I do have Rip Nugget's head and Brathmuz's head. Brathmuz's head. Are these worth anything? Can I delete them or can I just give them as trophies to Amiko or something?
Uh, yeah, you could either give them as trophies to like Amiko, or you could give them to the sheriff as proof of like, you know, having killed off these menaces to the town. Whatever you want, but no, they're not really worth anything.
Alright, yeah, I would just give them to Amiko to put in her bar or whatever. Or if she doesn't want them, give them to the sheriff or whatever.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I think
And
yeah. Sorry.
as for the Lamashtu journal, so Father Xantus has gone through it. All he can really decipher from it is it is just it really reads like a bestiary of creatures of Lamashtu, and that's about all there is to it. Yes, it does give insight onto the weaknesses of these creatures. So if you choose to keep this journal, basically in any future if you fight any creatures that are from Lamashtu, I will give you basically like pluses to some sort of check to figure out the best way to attack them or approach them, or
Oh
something
yeah,
of that
I'll take it
sort.
for sure then. But I thought the issue was I couldn't read it. So has he like translated it or something, or has
Yeah,
he?
he
Okay,
will
okay.
have basically gone through it and translated it for you, and he tells you it's basically just like a bestiary of creatures of Lamashtu. It he like translated it all out for you, just details like all these sorts of different creatures created by Lamashtu basically, and like basically it mostly like focuses on like what they can do, but also gives you insight into like what would be the best like method to kill them.
All right, I'm
By
adding
turning
that
that
to my
around.
character sheet.
Okay, so how long do we stay in town before the next 2 days, 3 days, a week?
I would say it's probably been like uh, I'd say like
I
a
think.
week. You guys
Yeah, I was
have.
gonna say it felt like all the stuff we're doing a minimum a week for all the stuff we're doing.
Yeah, yeah, probably like a week. I mean, you guys got back to town, you rested, then you spent a few days, figuring out all of the papers and deciphering everything you brought back, and then, spent a few days shopping and all of that. So it's probably been about a week.
Okay. So Zephyr's been drinking for a week. Because after about 2 days, Glitter's not gonna. I'm not gonna wait to see if anyone else steps.
I think, just for the record, I think when we got back to town, Ulden would have said, like, I need to, like, commune with the gods and talk with Father Xantus, so I'll catch up with you guys in like, after you're ready to, like, meet back up. So I think for the whole week you haven't seen me, or I haven't seen you guys, so I don't think I would know that she was drinking or whatever.
Okay.
Maybe I'm on a retcon just a little bit, because I was thinking a couple of days is how long it had been. She's still drinking pretty heavily, but probably not blackout drunk for a week straight. More
Maybe
like
blackout drunk for the first night or two, and then kind of tapered off to just drinking regularly, but not holy shit, she's
Okay.
blackout every night.
Yeah.
Then Glitter will probably be
Give me a quick
concerned
second.
and say, if you ever need to talk, I've lived longer than all of you combined. So if you need some wisdom, let me know.
So Sephra, thanks Glitter for his kindness. She doesn't say much else, but she does thank him because she knows that it's coming from a good place.
Okay. Then as he's walking away, he kind of looks and says, "You need to lay out that a little bit. We need you." But he says it sort of, not intrusively, just kind of as he's walking away to leave her alone with, I guess Marco's probably by her side.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
So other than the thing I put in my room about being concerned, I also have composed at least 2 songs during the week. One is a tragedy about Nualia, and I'm not quite sure if I want to actually sing that for anybody because I'm sure everyone thinks of her as a villain. And the other one is just the Tale of Thistletop. It's a heroic song about the taking of Thistletop and how the heroes cleaned it out. Blah, blah, blah. I sing that one at least once a night, unless people ask more for it.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to say that you guys are now have all kind of met back up and are just having a regular evening of sitting in the tavern, whatever, doing your normal thing. And as you guys are just sitting there chatting, eating dinner, your normal, evening routine, you see Sheriff Hemlock come in. And he kind of looks around, spies you guys all at a table together, and locks eyes. And you're like, oh, he's coming over here. And he kind of has this grim look on his face. So he comes up to you all and greets you, and kind of then goes to talk to Amiko for a second, and then comes back and basically says, I unfortunately have some grim news to share with you. Could we please go to the back room so that we can speak more in private?
Okay, so I just want to clarify something. So have we all decided that we're going to stay together? Because as far as Glitter's concerned, this is done. We saved Sandpoint. We cleaned out the bad guys. I mean, have we all met back up and sort of talked about, hey, we got a good thing going here. Maybe we can go do some more good somewhere else. Or are we just gonna not RP? I don't mind not RPing that, but are we just gonna be? Yeah, we're gonna stay together.
No, I think I agree with that. I think we all thought we were done, and then this is coming up, and then we all kind of go see what's up, and then
Okay,
assuming
so
we're gonna want to stick together to solve this.
Yeah, I'm
So-
just saying
so
you
wait-
guys are just hanging out at the bar or at the tavern and happen to be all sitting together, probably just talking about
Okay.
every, it's just kind of one of those like things. You're hanging out as friends. You're not necessarily like in a situation where you're like, yeah, we've all decided that we're going to go fight more evil together. You're just hanging out in the bar as friends at the moment.
Okay, so I imagine that we all met up for one last dinner, perhaps, or something like that, because
Yeah.
Glitter's
That'd
going to
be
move
cool.
on. He's going to go. He's going to go somewhere else and find more adventures. He's got a taste for adventure. So then I'm going to retcon a little bit and say that while I'm concerned about Sephra, I probably never actually said the words "you need to lay off that because we need you." Because in his opinion, he's about to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, unless someone else says, "Hey, we should stay together," but I don't think anyone has said that.
No.
So this is kind of like a last meal together. Like, oh yeah, you remember the horse? Yeah, that kind of thing. Okay, so when the
Okay.
sheriff comes over, I am very much intrigued because Glitter wants to become almost a professional adventure seeker. He's not going to seek out battles or anything, but the thing we just did, it very much appeals to him. Being a hero. So I will look around at everyone else, like with a quizzical look on my face, and I look up at the sheriff and I say, "Okay."
Sephra just sort of gets up, kind of nods and just
Right? Sheriff says, "Okay, I'm in."
Yeah, I would just follow everyone, see what's up.
Just silently follow.
Okay. So once you guys have all reached back room in the Rusty Dragon, Sheriff Hemlock will address you. He says, "First, let me thank you again for all you've done for Sandpoint. It's fortunate you've proven yourself so capable, because we've got a problem I think you can help us with. A problem I wish I didn't have to involve anyone with, but one that needs dealing with now before the situation grows worse. Put simply, we have a murderer in our midst. One who, I fear, has only begun his work. Some of you doubtless remember the late unpleasantness, how this town nearly tore itself apart in fear as Chopper slayings went on unanswered. I'm afraid we might have something similar brewing now. Last night, the murderer struck at the sawmill."
Whoa! I'm sorry. I cut out. I lost the last 10 seconds. All right. Some of you remember the unpleasantness.
Yep. The late unpleasantness, how this town nearly tore itself apart in fear as Chopper's slayings went on unanswered. I'm afraid we might have something similar brewing now. Last night, the murderer struck at the sawmill. There are 2 victims, and they're in pretty gruesome shape. The bodies were discovered by one of the mill workers, a man named Iber Thorne. And by the time my men and I arrived at the scene, a crowd of curious gawkers had already sprung up. Got my men stationed there now, keeping the mill locked down. But the thing that bothers me isn't the fact that we have 2 dead bodies inside. It's the fact that this is actually the second set of murders we've had in the last few days. I come to you for help in this matter. My men are good, but they're also green. They were barely able to handle themselves against the goblins, and what we're facing now is an evil far worse than goblins. I need your help, but I'm afraid you'll need help too. You see, I'm afraid that this particular murderer knows one of you as well." So at this point, the sheriff kind of pulls this like scrap of parchment out of his pocket. Um, and he actually looks to you, Sephra, and he hands you this piece of paper.
I take it from him and I look at it.
So I actually didn't find this handout yet. Should
So
have had this ready.
just to let you know, if anyone's looking, Glitter looks excited by this.
Oh boy, a murder!
I look extremely concerned and worried.
Alright, I have to make sure I give you the right. Okay, yeah. All right, so I'm showing to everyone, but technically only Sephra would be seeing this at the moment unless she chooses to share it with everyone else. So Sephra, he hands you this like dirty scrap of parchment, and when you look at it, you realize that on the outside is your name written in blood. And as you open up the parchment, this is what you see.
Ooh. So Sephra actually will read it out loud to the party just because she's reading it to herself, but she's also like she just does better if she repeats it out loud. And so she says, "You will learn to love me, desire me in time as she did. Give yourself to the pack, and it all shall end. Signed, your lordship." So she, even though she's a bit, tipsy already, she's kind of concerned, like blood and none of this sounds very good. So then she looks up at the sheriff and she's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what this means. I've never heard of any lordship."
We found this note pinned to the sleeve of the latest victim with a splinter of wood. But I do believe that this note was left at the murder scene to possibly throw suspicion on you. I don't believe any of you could have anything to do with these murders.
Do you have more details of these murders, like when they started and all that stuff? Can you give us like a full report?
Yeah, so yesterday, hold on, I believe it was the day before. Let me look here in my notes.
While you're looking, I will just look to the rest of the party and I would say, I don't know why, but I get the feeling that Lamashtu isn't done with us. This sounds like a follower of Lamashtu, maybe. Maybe perhaps because Sephra, you didn't fight Nualia. Maybe the time, like desire me in time as she did, is referring to Nualia, and he, like this follower of Lamashtu, I can't imagine it's Lamashtu herself. I think it's a girl, right? Is actually
Okay.
writing this letter to you, but sounds like it's maybe related.
Muttering to myself, I wonder if gods can be killed.
I highly doubt
So, the sheriff will explain to you that 2 days ago, a patrol of his guards along the Lost Coast Road were assaulted by a deranged man near an abandoned barn south of the town, along the banks of the Cougar Creek. The man was obviously sick and insane. His flesh was fevered, his eyes were wild, his mouth was frothing, and his clothes were caked with blood. The guards subdued him, and when they checked the barn, they found the mutilated bodies of 3 men. Now, after further investigation, we did discover that these 3 men were con men from the town of Galduria. We forbade these men from coming basically to Sandpoint because we just don't allow known con men here in town. And honestly, I wasn't that surprised to find them dead. However, the bodies were extremely disfigured. So that was the first murder, or the first set of murders, and the man that we found wandering the streets, fevered and insane, actually turned out to be someone they hired as a bodyguard. He is actually off at Habe Sanatorium, south of town. It's kind of like a sanatorium for insane people. He's there, and so we thought that was just that was it, maybe, and maybe con gone wrong, they got killed, but now this murder, and so that's all so far, but they seem connected.
Hmm.
So, was there any sort of fevered people with the saw?
Unfortunately, everyone we found at the sawmill were murdered and mutilated.
Well,
Have you already cleaned up the murder scene? Can we look at
We
it?
have not. No, we are actually waiting. I have my guard still stationed there, waiting to see if you guys wanted to go check it out before we clean it up. So if you wish to check it, I would ask that you do that as soon as possible, like first thing tomorrow morning, so that I can get people on taking care of the situation so the sawmill can get back to work.
What time is it now?
It's late. It's probably 8, 9 p.m.
Okay, so now would not be a good.
Was there any other clues you happened upon, or is this all you have?
Well, so here's the information I have from now. And I'm I've got so much going on in town right now trying to keep the town under control and not have fear strike that I'm really hoping I can pass off the clues to you and we can kind of work in a semi conjunction where you guys go investigate things for me while I take care of the town situation and we kind of work out a situation like that. How does that sound to you?
that sounds agreeable.
Of course, as long as we were all planning on parting ways tonight, but it sounds like we are again needed as a unit to help the town.
I'm in.
I guess that means. Uh, by the way, Jose's in the bathroom, but he said just to fill him in. So
Yeah.
Marco just kind of nods without saying anything, indicating that he is. And Sephra says, you know, I certainly want to know why people are leaving notes with my name in blood. So yeah, I'm in.
So he'll hand off to you guys all of his paperwork detailing basically the clues that they've been able to uncover thus far. Um, and he kind of gives it to you guys in a sense of, here, take all of this, read through it tonight. Come see me tomorrow morning if you have any questions before you set off to go basically check out the sawmill, assuming that's where you go. So, kind of what he has so far is obviously the lumber mill, written with as most recent murder, body still present, probably should go here first so we can get cleaned up. Next clue he's kind of noted is Iber Thorne, the man he said who was the sawmill worker who discovered the bodies. He kind of have notes here that he suspects this man doesn't know anything more, but he does have him currently held in the local town jail. If you guys want to go basically question him, he is still currently there because he was found covered in the blood of the victims.
Okay.
Next note you have is Ven Vinder. So under the details of the lumber mill, the people listed dead is one of the workers, and the other person listed dead is Katrine Vinder. So Ven Vinder's daughter. And there have been local rumors and theories that Katrine was having like an illicit affair with one of the lumber mill workers. So Katrine was found dead there as well. So he has been,
Two people were dead.
yes, 2 bodies found. So suspects, he kind of has Ven Vinder also listed as really the main only suspect, although he kind of suspect Ven is innocent in his notes. However, when he went to initially question Ben put up an enormous fight, so he has him also locked in jail at the moment.
Oh wait, Ven isn't the one that died.
No, Ven Vinder, sorry, is the father of Katrine.
Okay, so Katrine was dead, and the
And
lumber
one of the
mill.
Katrine and one of the other lumber mill workers were both found dead in the lumber mill.
Okay.
And so they went to speak with. He lists that they went to speak with Ven as being Katrine's father, and he basically went into an outrage and put up a big fight. So they also have him currently locked up at the station, but his notes do suspect that he thinks he might be innocent, but took him in anyways because I mean it's kind of shady to put up a huge fight when the cops come to investigate, talk to you
Yeah,
about.
you mentioned something about Katrine, like having an affair with one of the workers.
Yes, there was rumors that she was having an affair with one of the workers
So
at the
was she
sawmill.
married to someone else, or
No.
She was fornicating, all right?
And then again, he lists the first the first murder of the three con men as one of the kind of like clues to go off of. And lastly, the rune he has noted star carved on chest. Maybe consult specialist.
where was the star carved on the chest of one of the three guys in the barn?
So he has notes on star carved on chest of men in the barn and men at the sawmill.
Isn't that star the symbol of Lamashtu, or is this a different kind of star, or what kind of star is it?
Oh, good question. Is that a 7-pointed star?
Maybe you should go investigate the body and check it out for yourself.
He didn't say how many points the star had.
Just says star carved on chest is what his notes say. Well, actually, let me see. That's what I put in my notes.
So how many people? How many people died at the lumber mill? I'm asking out of character.
Ew.
Two.
Two. The lumber mill worker. Okay, so I asked him. The lumber mill worker that died with Katrine, is it the one that she was sleeping with, or is that just a
Glitter!
rumor?
I'm telling you that's like there are rumors she was having an affair with someone, but the sheriff isn't gonna have that information.
Okay. Okay.
Don't worry, Glitter. You can take samples from them and find out if they were sleeping together.
Three men are killed at the sawmill.
Yes. And before the sheriff did leave you guys for the night, he did let you know that he is actually officially deputizing you all, so that you may help work on these murders in town, but asks you to try to keep as quiet about them as you can because he is trying to prevent mass panic from ensuing, basically. Which is also why he's kind of focusing on the town at the moment while you guys focus on trying to help aid solving the murders.
Sephira nods and says, "Well, it's an honor. Thank you."
Okay, wait,
We
and
will-
sorry, he didn't have notes on what kind of star was on the chest?
His notes say the star carved on one victim's chest certainly, he believes the star carved on one of the victim's chest might have significance to the killer, but he's at a loss to what it means. Perhaps an expert on runes can be consulted. But it just says the star.
Okay.
So Glitter basically well, I'll wait for the sheriff to leave. So let me know when he leaves.
He is left.
Okay. So then Glitter will look around at everyone and says, "Well, friends, it looks like we're thrown into the thick of things again. Shall we start in the morning?"
Sephira nods.
Seems the gods will us to stay together. But yes, in the morning. We should make to the sawmill and see what the. Or do you want to question the guys first and then leave?
What do you think?
I think, and this is just my opinion, I think that we should take a look at the bodies. I really want to see if I can track anything, with my tracking. And the fresher the tracks, the better.
Plus, I think the sheriff wants to clean it up, so we should get theirs as soon as we can in the morning.
Yes.
Also, Glitter is concerned about. I'm concerned about the word pack in the note and the frothing of the mouth of the one guy. That's. Okay, you want me to roll a knowledge check, or you just want me to go with what I. That's for you, Wit.
Give me a quick second.
Okay.
And how is this going to fit into our priest murdering agenda?
We'll get to that later.
Oh,
We'll just carve a star in his chest and frame it on the dude.
you know what? I bet the priest is the one committing the murder.
Oh my lord.
You ready, Wit? No, she's not ready.
Sorry, baby bonked her head and I was trying to get her to calm down.
Aw.
So tell me what you are thinking first. It is for me to figure out the correct knowledge for you to try to put things together.
So the whole guy that was left over at the not the sawmill, the barn was looked like he was diseased and frothing at the mouth, and then the letter itself mentions the word pack. Okay, immediately Glitter starts to think lycanthropes, like werewolves, werecats, something like that.
What knowledge check would that be?
Nature?
Doesn't matter. I have them all trained, so.
Okay, well, tell me which knowledge you think you would use and why.
I don't know. None of them really fit. Maybe nature. Maybe, I don't know, religion. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Everything but engineering and geography is at a 7, so it doesn't really matter what I roll.
Okay, well, roll
Even
roll
Arcana.
knowledge religion. Of course, I changed the flipping page. What does that give you? Okay, so you rolled. Trying to figure out. So you know that putting the information together of that kind of stuff, yes, could mean lycanthropes. There are other things it could mean as well, though. But so you feel like you're on the right track of it's something possibly not human. And that's
Okay.
kind of what you're getting.
Okay, I'll wait till I gather more information.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to do before you go to bed for the night?
I want to
And-
order one of Amiko's sober up tonics with like the tomato juice and the raw egg.
I thought you were gonna order like the strongest drink she had, and I was gonna be like, God damn it, Sephra, don't make me make a Miko like cut you off.
No, see, the thing is Sephra, knows that she'll need to probably be, somewhat sober in the morning, so.
Sure, so yeah, Miko will mix up her potent getcha sober as quick as possible tonic and be like, drink this and go straight to bed, honey.
All right, that's what she does.
All right, anyone else want to do anything before you guys head to bed and junk? You know? Yeah.
Nope, not me.
I mean, yes, but not until I see the star.
What?
Okay.
It's like Santa Claus glitter. The quicker you go to bed, the quicker he'll come. I don't know. If
I'll force myself to go to sleep.
I actually excuse myself from Sephra and tell her that I have to go blow some steam, and then go back to bed a few hours later.
how do you blow off steam?
By trying to hit something.
What are you trying to hit?
No, I wander into the nearby forest and go gather some wood for Amigo, so I'm just chopping.
Ulden will offer to spar with you.
Are you trying to learn jokes from Glitter? You don't even have a.
It's more like you know, like when boxers, the one dude has like the pads and one dude has like the gloves. I'd be like the pad dude. Like you'd try to like hit me and I would defend.
Hit him!
You can try.
I say I appreciate the offer. I'm just gonna chop some.
Well, it doesn't do that, but all right, fair enough.
All right. Y'all went to bed? We all good?
Yeah.
All right. Can all wake up the next morning now? Sephra, roll me a perception check.
Okay.
So as you get up and start getting ready, to head out, like grab breakfast, whatever, you're still in your room. As you're just kind of glancing around your room, you notice that your little like toy ball you keep around is missing.
I am now worried. I like that ball. So I'm searching my room for it.
Yeah, you can't seem to find it anywhere.
So I am going to go to the others while they're eating breakfast and say, "Did anyone take my ball?"
I didn't even know you had a ball.
Glitter?
He has his mouth full of eggs. Which
She just
translates
tries-
into I didn't take it.
Okay, I was like, okay. Marco, did you take my ball?
No, I'm just nodding my head.
Marco shares a room with Sephra, so
What?
When did that happen?
they don't. It's not like that. They have separate beds. It's just that
Well,
they're
me and Glitter
friends.
don't share a room.
Dun dun dun. I think Marco and Sephra have other secrets they're keeping from us.
I was going to say, I was going to ask Marco if he noticed. Was it, did he see it whenever he came in from chopping wood?
I honestly didn't notice it. I was very tired after I got done chopping.
She sort of sighs and nods. She doesn't want to spend a whole lot of time looking for it, but that was a nice little toy that she.
Glitter, can you detect magic on her note that she got? Is there any magic on that? Maybe we should have found that, figured that out.
Certainly.
You do not detect any magic.
Okay. I look at him and I shake my head. Nope.
Well, better safe than sorry. Just find it odd this message was for her, and now she's missing some of her things. I think we need to keep a close eye on you, Sephra. Something's not sitting right with me about all this.
Sephra nods and says, "It's unsettling. I mean, especially because now, something's missing that was. I remember playing with it before I went to sleep last night."
Wait, you specifically had it the night before and you were literally playing with it? Is this like a real thing?
I mean,
or are you just adding flavor to that?
I'm sort of adding some flavor. It's kind of, I kind of think of it like, if you've ever seen like those little fidget cubes, or, it's just something that, she keeps in her hand and kind of, will.
You could say you recall playing with it very recently, not maybe specifically last night,
Yeah,
but
I was
you
gonna say,
recall
'cause-
having it within like a day or two. So it's not like you think literally it disappeared while you were sleeping last night, but it's been fairly recent that it disappeared.
Okay.
And her days are probably blurred together just a little bit since, she's been drinking.
Alright, yeah. Well, then we'll just say maybe it's a coincidence, but I think we should all just be really careful, and Sephra, you should be very cautious. Something's not sitting well with all this.
She nods.
All right, are you guys ready to head to the lumber mill, or is there anything else you would like to do before you set off?
How far away is the lumber mill?
I mean, it's in town. Let's see. Sure,
I get to take my wagon.
Okay, so the lumber mill is, if you look on this map, the lumber mill is this place right here. And I believe the inn you are staying in is, I want to say I forget exact which building, but it's down in this area. So it's not very far away.
Oh, well, it's like right around the corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's the sheriff's place? Can we stop? Is it on the way there, or?
I actually don't know off the top of my head. Do you want me to
Well,
figure that out for you real fast?
I mean, if it doesn't matter, because everything seems super close, I would just
Yeah.
want to let the sheriff know to make sure these guys are still in jail by the time we get back. Like, I don't want them to be like, "Oh yeah, they were being released today," or something.
No, he reassured you that that they would be in jail for the next like 2 days or so until they basically had to release them if they hadn't gathered like any new information that basically like pointed one of them out as the actual killer or something.
Okay.
So you know that you basically have about 48 hours before they're being released.
Okay, before we go to the mill or whatever, Ulden will voice his concern that he thinks we should question the people first, because the bodies aren't going anywhere and it'll only take us a small time to question them, and it's risky if they end up missing or murdered by the time we're out of there. So I don't know. That's just my concern. If you guys don't want to do it, that's fine. But
So Glitter decided a long time ago that Ulden was someone that he would follow. So whatever you if I have an objection to what you come up with, I will certainly let you know. But I am perfectly fine with that.
if none of you have any strong feelings one way or the other, I suggest we do the questioning first,
All right.
just to make
I'm
sure we
fine with
don't
that.
miss out on speaking to them for any reason. Sorry with you, Marco?
Sure, let's go.
Alright. We're gonna head to the people first.
Sure. So yeah, you can head to the sheriff's office, and he'll show you to the holding cells where they currently have both of them. Who do you want to go talk to first, Ibor or Ven?
So I'm sorry. You need to tell me again. Who is Ivor?
Ibor is the man who discovered the bodies, but they took him in just as a precaution because he was covered in blood when. So like he did the whole like he called in, the police come, they talk to him. He is currently covered in the victim's blood. So as a precaution, even though they feel like he's innocent, they still took him in for the 48 hours because I mean, you find someone calling in the murder and they're covered in the victim's blood, like a little.
Okay. Okay. And who? So I have Van Vinder as the suspect who found the body. So that's
No, that is Ivor Thorne. Van Vinder is the father of Katrine.
okay. I'll let you take the questioning, Ulden, if you want.
All right, if no one has any strong opinions, let's go talk to Igor first.
Ivor. Oh my god.
And how long have you been working with the priest?
Implicate him.
I do think we need to ask him who the other lumber mill worker was, because I don't have a name on him yet.
So as you stop by the sheriff, you can ask him, and he will tell you that the other man was identified as. I'm trying to figure out like if he has a flippin' last name. His first name is Harker. Oh, sorry, that's his last name, Banny Harker. Banny Harker was the man that they
Got it.
found killed.
With the girl.
Yes.
And do we have?
Banny Harker's body and Katrine Vinder's body.
And you did
were
give us
both
the
found.
names of those. They were banished dudes, con men or whatever, right?
Yeah, he can give you the name of the conman if you want to jot that down real fast. That was information that would have been in the pamphlet. I just didn't say it. But in um, Tarch Mortwell. That's Tarch, and then Mortwell, Mortwell. The next guy was Leonard, Lener, Hask, Hask, and Gedwin, Gedwin, Tabe. And he does have a note he shares with you that was discovered at the scene of that murder. Let me believe it was this one. And this is partially how they identified them because the bodies were mutilated beyond identification.
Okay.
There's that lordship guy again. What was the name of that noble that took us boar hunting?
I don't remember his name.
I'm just teasing.
And I asked the name of the lunatic, the raving guy held at the sanitarium.
That was. Sorry, I'm just trying to find his name and all this info. He was identified as Graced Sevilla, Grayst Sevilla, and he is a known local Parisian thug. And again, just to reiterate, he lets you know that he has been given over to the care of Aaron Habe, the caretaker of the independent sanatorium south of town. And basically, if you want to speak to him more later, you'll have to venture to the sanatorium.
Okay, sounds good.
Wait, I'm super confused. I thought the raving guy, the guards came across him and they subdued him, and he's supposed to be in this prison. And
No.
so wait, what? I'm so confused. How many incidents of? So wait, where was the raving guy then? I thought he was with the three bodies in the barn.
He was.
Yes.
And then someone else found the bodies to report it in.
Someone else, the one that's in the jail cell, is the one who found the people at the sawmill. The other one, this great.
Yeah. Sorry. I was mixing everything up. Okay, that makes sense.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
No worries.
A lot of names.
So I have it sort of in my room. If you need to, I know you can't see notifications while we're streaming. I have it in Jaeger's room.
Ah, thank you, sir.
trying to keep track of all this, so
Yeah,
just we
there's
don't
a
have to
lot of
keep
names
asking.
going around. Okay.
I normally do 1 page of notes for an entire session, and I've almost completely filled 1 page.
Jesus.
Yeah, so far we have Iber Thorn, who's a suspect who found the bodies in the sawmill. The dead people in the sawmill were Benny Harker and Katrine Vinder.
Sorry, my
Katrine
kids
was
are screaming.
suspected of sleeping with one of the workers. There's a star carved on the chest of the men in the barn and I say men, but the people at the sawmill. Three people killed at the sawmill, and the guy who was found like running around outside, raving lunatic, frothing at the mouth, is a local thug being held at the sanitarium. So we literally,
Okay.
I think we have 2 people to talk to right now.
Let me go over all of this in order again, just to make sure you guys are clear on all of the clues and information that he has gathered so far. So 2 days prior was where they found the guy outside of town raving, frothing at the mouth, and when they investigated further, that's when they found a barn that held 3 dead bodies that they discovered to be these 3 thugs, via basically this note. And so that was the first murder. The frothing at the mouth guy was sent to the sanatorium because he was basically crazy. Like they don't believe he has anything to do with it. They think he was hired muscle, but he has basically gone crazy. And so the only thing they could figure out to do with him was basically send him kind of like to this insane asylum, sanatorium kind of place. Now, 2 days later, a similar murder, in certain senses, has happened at the sawmill. 2 bodies were found dead. They were found by Iber Thorn, who also works at the sawmill. He was who found them, but he was covered in blood. So, as a precaution, the sheriff decided to take him into holding. So, he is currently at the jail. When they discovered who the bodies were, they discovered that one of the bodies was Katrine Vender. So they went and questioned her father then to kind of be like, hey, we found your daughter dead, and kind of question him at the same time. He basically put up a huge fight, so they also took him in. So those are the 2 people that are currently at the sheriff's, in the like holding cells at the sheriff's office. Iberthorn and Ben Vinder. They both are related to the most recent crime scene, not the first one. The first one, the crazy guy from there, is at the sanatorium.
Okay.
Okay, I think I got all of that. So if we're at the jail, then we could question Iber Thorn, who works at the sawmill. He's the guy who found the bodies. And I think you said Vin Vinder, the father of Katrine, one of the victims, is also being held there because he kind of went a little.
Yes.
All right, who do you guys want to question first?
Igor.
Oh my lord.
I'm sorry, there's no Igor in this jail.
Okay, go for it, John.
Oh, me. All right,
Well,
Ivor, why'd you do it? And how did you do it? Tell us why, god damn it. Why?
Told the sheriff everything I know. I don't have anything more to say.
Did the sheriff
Well,
have notes on what he said?
I mean, I'm going to tell Ibar that the sheriff has hired us to help investigate the murders. So if he could please, tell us, when you found the bodies, was there, anything of interest there? I mean, why is he holding you here? He thinks you're a suspect, but,
I don't know why he brought me in. All I did was phone in when I came to work
Phone
and
in?
found these 2 dead
What's a
bodies.
phone?
Oh, whatever. Okay. No.
What is this phone you speak of? What is that the weapon?
God freaking damn it.
Well, hold on. I wanted to know if the sheriff had notes of what he told him, just to see if the story lines up, if he gets caught in a lie or something like that. You can just let me know
All
if
the
that
sheriff
happens
has, so all the sheriff has is he's the man who discovered the body at the lumber mill. He really doesn't suspect that he knows anymore. He's very frightened. He's pretty much just claiming he doesn't know anything, is what the sheriff has.
So why were you covered in the blood? Did you try to? Why did you go up to the
Oh,
bodies?
I went over to the bodies and tried to see if they were alive or not. Yeah, I got a little bit of their blood on.
So one of the people who was killed is Katrine Vinder, and there's supposedly a rumor that she was involved with one of the other workers. Do you know who she was involved with?
Look, man, I don't know anything about no rumors.
I'm gonna whisper to the rest of the party. Hey, are any of you very full of wisdom that you can sense his motives here? If he's being honest with us.
Oh, whoops. That's Sephra. Sorry.
I mean, I have it trained.
I have it trained as well.
You're not entirely sure, Sephra. He seems ish honest. Glitter, you get the idea. Maybe he knows a little bit more than he's saying. But unless you guys can somehow sort of change his attitude with you, he's probably not giving up.
Okay, I will use my diplomacy skill, and I will say, look, you know what? We don't want to falsely accuse him, but you're in a jail cell and you're involved in some pretty nasty things, okay? We want to be on your side here. We want to help get you out of there. So if you know anything else, it's really in your best interest to tell us what you know.
Are you gonna roll diplomacy?
I was waiting to see if Wit had anything to say.
I was waiting for your role to respond. Hold on.
Why is it I can't fucking roll good when I need to?
Why wouldn't you let the charismatic one roll this?
Right, that would be me.
Really? Because I have more skill in diplomacy than you, apparently.
Oh, because I haven't put any points in it yet.
Well, then...
I have 2 ranks in it.
I have a plus
Yes,
and
12.
total
unfortunately-
of 5.
I have a plus 12. You cucks.
Yeah, so he looks at you, Glitter, and he just kind of is like, they can't put me away. They don't have anything against me. I don't know anything. I didn't do anything.
I
I
look at him and say,
mean-
your choice. You want to sit here in the jail cell? And I turn around and say, I don't, maybe you can get something more out.
Out of character, I'm just gonna say that, circumstantial evidence is pretty powerful in the time period this is set, since there's no such thing as DNA evidence. But in character, I'll say, I mean, you have to see how it looks. You report the murder, but you have blood all over. Doesn't
Wouldn't
look
have
too
you
good.
leaned over the bodies to try to check if they were still alive? That's all I did.
I mean, sure. Was anybody else there to see that? Can you prove
Is-
that that's
I have a question. Is he still wearing the same clothes? Could we see how much blood was all over?
Yeah.
And
You can tell that yes, he has blood on him. But it's the amount that could make sense with his story. It's not an obscene amount of blood.
okay.
I look at Olden and say, if you can get more out of him, please.
Are we allowed all to roll diplomacy, or...
Sure, why not?
Well,
Different
not the
people.
DM, my dude.
I'll let you try. Sephra's gotten you close, so let's see if you can aid her in.
Alright, well,
in
first I
making
touch
fun.
myself, and then I talk to
Good.
him.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Alden.
All right, so he looks at you, Olden, and he's like, "Well, you seem like a godly man. I think I can trust you."
Yes, you can. What do you know?
Well, okay, so I'm not supposed to tell anyone, but Katrine was having midnight trysts with Harker.
Midnight what?
But trysts.
Trysts. They were having sex.
I know of not these things. Go on.
Okay, well that's where a man and a woman get intimate with each other.
Why would they do such a
Anyways.
thing? Don't people want to love only their god? Anyway, go on. I got it.
Okay, so he says, look, they were having midnight trysts, and I suspect that was why Katrine was at the sawmill. But I mean, I don't know why anyone would have killed them for that. I mean, I know Katrine's dad would have been super pissed, but I don't think he's capable of killing them over that.
Yeah, it sounds like a bit of an overreaction. So, did you see how, like, because clearly you got intimate with the bodies, with the blood all over you. Did you see what was the cause of death? Were they cut, or was it any signs of struggle?
I mean, their bodies were both pretty mutilated. It was,
Mutilated how? Like
I
disfigured or
mean,
cut?
Katrine's was like super cut up. It almost looked as if like someone like pushed her into the sawmill or something. Like,
Oh
I don't know
God.
how you get that cut up. And then Harker was like pinned up and hung on the wall weirdly, and he had like this weird star carved into his chest. I don't know, man. I just checked to see if they were alive and I got the hell out of there.
What did the star look like?
I can't really remember, but it had more points than normal.
My intelligence check was try to remember. Didn't we see someone pinned up in like a starry formation in the Lamashtu place, or am I just making that up?
I don't think so. I don't recall anyone being pinned up with
Or
a
like
star
I
in
thought we saw like some
mushroom.
image or something like this, similar to this, like someone like sprawled out. Maybe it was in the handout. Like someone sprawled out in like
Not that
a.
I can recall, but I could be misremembering as well. But I don't personally recall anything that you guys have come across that was something
Click,
with.
click. Um. Okay, well then, stop. I'm just going to. I don't know if this is necessary or not. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say I was just trying to figure out like clearly this is like the star of Lamashtu, right? Like clearly, this is like yelling Lamashtu stuff at me, and I just find it
Yeah,
like
you're pretty
convenient
certain
that
it's Lamont. Yeah, you're pretty certain the star is Lamash too, but you're not sure what it all means.
Well, yeah, like Ulden will just like go
Well, no,
back from
this
this.
wasn't the star. Was that? Oh my god, my brain. I'm sorry. Hold
While you're looking something up, Ulden is just backing away from this guy so he can't really hear us. And I'm just speaking to everyone, giving them like my working theory. Is like, I just find it odd that these murders start happening after we snuff out one of Lamashtu's main followers who was trying to like do some crazy stuff. It seemed like someone kind of picked up the reins from Nualia, maybe. And yeah, that's my working theory. Is that since we killed her, something it was like something that happened in reaction to that. Clearly.
Sorry, I would like to clarify here. You guys know if you're referring to the 7-pointed star that you have encountered already, you know that that is actually a Sidron whatever star.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't necessarily directly link to Lamashtu, but a lot of Lamashtu's followers have used it.
Okay, well, the main point is it's linked to all this symbology that we've seen so far at that
Yes.
place. So
Yeah.
I'm saying, Ulden is saying that it's likely related to this. Like, what was going on there is somewhat related to this. Either Lamashtu has a hand in it or not, but the people were working together probably. Nualia probably knew something about this, or her death has caused something to. A reaction to happen here, I think. I find it too convenient for that to be not
It's a
related.
great working theory. We need to go take a look at the crime scene now, I think.
Yeah, but while we're here, might as well talk
Well,
to the dad and see what he has to say. Sir Vindor, unless sorry, if anyone else had questions for Igor.
Before you leave him, Olden, just roll me a perception check.
Ooh.
All right. Yeah, you don't think anything else of Vibor.
All right, Vindor. What's your story, sir?
What do you mean? What's my story?
People are saying you got mad at daughter getting a little frisky with the sawmill man, and then you killed them both, or what's going on? What happened? Why'd you fight with the law?
Because it's ridiculous that they're spreading these damn rumors that my daughter was in a tryst with some man at the sawmill. I might as well be calling her a whore.
Well, she
So
was.
Sephra
So
steps up and she says, "First of all, I'm very sorry. You must be really, you know, distraught over losing your daughter."
He kind of like looks up at you and like locks eyes and then gets like really sad eyes and like starts tearing up and she was my baby.
well, if she was your baby, it doesn't really do well to slut shame. By the way, you don't own her sexuality. She can have sex with whoever she wants. By the way.
Do you even know what sex is, Olden?
Yes,
The other
I
guy just had to
learned.
explain it to you.
Yeah, I just learned, and I put it together that quickly.
Brilliant.
I have this crazy idea, guys. I think women should have autonomy over their own body. Hear me out. It's crazy, I know, but I'm pushing for it in the church, and I think it's a good idea. And Mr. Vinder, you should think the same. So I wouldn't call your deceased daughter a whore. So carry on. You want to tell
So,
us more?
He
Sephra
wasn't
says,
calling her a whore. He was insinuating he felt like the cops were calling her a whore.
He said that she would be a whore if she was having sex with a guy there. So he's calling her a whore. Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
so Sephra says, you know, I'm so sorry for your loss. Can you please just tell us what you...
He like looks at you with a really sad face and says, I swear I don't know anything. He comes here and starts telling me about this affair and then that my daughter's death and I just lost it. I saw red. I don't even know why I attacked them. I just want my daughter back.
So Sephra just sort of, she says, is it okay? Can I give you a hug?
He's behind bars. Sephra, you're
Oh,
not
I thought
going
we
in
were
there.
like in like an interrogation room.
What do you Maybe. I don't know.
No, he's
We're in,
like
the
he's like
FBI.
behind bars in a cell. Yeah.
Okay.
Where's the
so-
two-way mirror?
She just pats his arm, sympathetically.
Sephra.
What
I'm
are you
assuming-
trying? Sorry. What are you trying to perceive, Marco?
I'm just looking at him.
Okay.
I'm assuming with that sense motive roll that I pretty much believe his story.
Yeah, you think he's telling the truth.
All right, sir. I'm sorry for your loss. I'll say a prayer for her, but for her soul. But I suggest you update your views on women in the meantime while you sit in the cell. Have a good day, sir.
Oh my lord.
And
Bolden's gonna get burned at the stake as a heretic.
I'd like to see them try. I'm level 5, motherfucker. I'll say to the party as we're about to leave, do you guys have anything other questions for him, or do you want to go check out the crazy guy, or do you want to just head to the mill?
Well, I'd like to get a look at the star and maybe the murder scene. See what we can come
Also,
across.
you would know that Habe Sanatorium is kind of outside of town. It would be a
Oh.
little bit of a, like, not a super long travel, but a little bit of a travel to get there.
Okay, yeah, then I would say next stop should be the mill. Let's see what we find.
So, Sephra, before they leave, she just speaks to the sheriff and says, you know, keep an eye on Mr. Vinder there. You know, it sounds like he's just a father in grief, but, you know, based on what you were telling us about the other guy that was driven mad, you know, just make sure that he's okay.
He nods at you and he actually lets you know that Ven's wife just came in and corroborated his alibi, so we're planning on sending him home as soon as you guys are finished interrogating him.
Can you keep him here another night?
He asks you why?
He needs to contemplate the role of women in society, I think, for another night.
Oh my god.
He's a slut shamer, as they call them. Anyways, I think you would do well to do that. I'll hand him 5 gold.
Wow.
Hey, I
While
need
they're
a.
doing that,
I'm a
I'm
very
looking
progressive oracle. Okay.
at the other prisoner real quick before we.
Okay. Um,
Metagaming Marco.
give me a sense motive to
No,
go with.
I'm looking at both of them.
I'm just teasing.
Yeah, I got nothing in that.
You feel like there might still be something off, but you're just not sure what.
I think egg.
I mean,
I
you
need some
guys feel like something's off, but you totally believe that he's told you everything he knows.
Sometimes you
Wait,
just
so
have to.
all of us believe something's off? Or they believe something's
The
off?
ones who have rolled, so they
Okay.
specifically rolled looking at him. But I want to say you did too.
Oh. Okay.
I thought.
All right. I don't say anything. I just walk back towards the party.
Well, hold on. I need to know, unless you guys tell me, do I know something's off with him still? Because then I would want to do more investigation if I do. If I don't, then I'm leaving.
I mean,
Roll
I've
perception
basically
again.
just been I've been studying them the whole time, not really saying anything.
Yeah, you still like your spidey senses are telling you that something with Ebor is like I don't know. You're just getting the vibe like you're not sure what is propelling you to think this, but you think there's more he could know, but you're just not sure.
Glitter. Detect magic on him? Maybe there's something we're missing.
Okay, I do so.
You do not detect any magic.
Well, anyone have any ideas? I'm getting something that there's more to this, but I've exhausted all my ideas. I don't have anything else I can think of.
Perhaps we should just continue what we were going to do, and with the additional information we get from our investigation, maybe we can figure out what our subconsciouses are trying to.
All right, let's carry on.
Okay, are you heading to?
Wait, I'm not quite ready to leave yet.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm looking at my bard abilities here. Yeah, I don't think I can actually do anything to him yet. Pretty sure I can't. You get spells, Sephra?
I do have some ranger spells.
Okay. Charm person isn't one of them?
I mean, he's pretty much.
I have charm animal, but not charm person.
I don't know why that
Okay.
would help. We pretty much got him on a friendly basis, and he gave us like what he knew.
Yeah, but charm you can really make them do pretty much anything you want. So okay.
In the other game, my witch has a great ability for that, but not my.
Okay. I'm guessing we can't get any. I mean, I could torture him if you wanted me to.
I don't think
I
that
can
would help.
scare 'em.
From our in-game knowledge, we've gained as much vocal knowledge we can from him, unless there's something like we rolled like good diplomacy to like talk to him, and it seemed like he was being friendly with us and whatever. So
Okay. So
in character, I can't think of
I
any
would
other
like
reason to torture him. It doesn't make any sense.
So I feel something's off. So I'm gonna look at I'm gonna draw the sheriff over to where Ivor can hear me talking to the sheriff and say, "You probably need to keep him. You need to keep him in jail. There's something he's not telling." And then I will sort of I'll walk away, but I'm walking away giving Ivor a chance to, if he needs to say something.
He just glares at you.
Okay, then I will leave.
I just want to clarify. We didn't get the idea that he wasn't not telling us something. We just got the something that something was off. Because if we don't,
Yep.
I mean, for all we know, he could be sick.
well, if we get the idea that he's not telling us everything, then that's completely different than like something's off. Because if something's
I'm just giving him the option of if he's holding something back. I just gave him ample opportunity and motive to tell us by telling the sheriff that he needs to keep him in jail.
Didn't he tell us that somebody pushed someone in the saw?
no, he said it looked
Well,
like the injuries are from that. It could be from
Yeah,
that. He said.
I'm kind of hoping we go to the sawmill next so we can take a look at the crime.
Okay.
All right, so we're headed to the sawmill now.
Yeah.
I hear they have great gravy.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering why the hell I chopped.
To blow off steam.
So you have to zoom in pretty far on this map because I was having a really hard time trying to get it to be of decent quality.
Okay. I'm good. Looks good to me.
Okay, so the first thing I want to do.
Hold on.
Okay.
Trying to pull your tokens out. Why don't I see it coming out though? What the hell? Okay. Well, pull your own tokens out, because I don't know why they're not coming out for me. What are you doing over there? Get over here.
How do you do that?
Go to the little thing that looks where your character sheet is, and you
Okay, well,
grab
on
on.
Marcos, I was just having a hard time with Woldens for some reason.
Okay.
Okay, so where do we start? Bottom of the screen?
Hold on. So I just have some information about the lumber mill for you guys as you come up to it. So the Sandpoint Lumber Mill stands on the shore of the Turinderok River. A sizable crowd has already gathered outside by this time that you arrive, but there are guards pretty much stationed here, like keeping the people in check. And as you guys approach, the guard just kind of gives you a nod, signaling that, like, you guys can keep going. Obviously, the sheriff has informed them that you all are deputized and allowed in. The mill is a well-built wooden structure with very thick walls. The roof is wooden shingles, and doors are simple timber and unlocked. And as far as you can tell, all of the machinery inside is currently turned off. So the entrance is right here.
Let's go, gang. Let's check it out.
Okay. First thing I want to do is, does the door look like it was forced at all?
Perception check. You do not see any signs of force on the door.
So the first thing
Okay.
Stepher wants to do is try and see if she can make out like any tracks, like that would be relevant to.
Okay. I do want to let the
Where-
rest of the party know that I tried to ascertain that the door was forced, and it looks like it wasn't.
Where are you looking for tracks, Sephra?
Specifically, I want to look like by the bodies and see, like, can I tell were they dragged, were they, kind of that kind of thing. Like, I'm basically looking. I'm sorry, inside around where the body.
So I just want to ask real quick, Whit. I see 2 blood spatters. Are there 2 different locations? Or...
There are 2 dead bodies.
Okay.
checking out this door over here.
Okay, hold on. I gotta like give people info as they ask for things, and you guys are all like asking. Oh my gosh, no, Charlie, stop. Okay, so your track is based on survival, right?
Let me check.
Yes.
Then yes.
So I'm gonna treat your track as if you were doing also like a survival check, because that's what they actually have you do around the bodies. But since track is like based off of survival, I'm gonna give it to you. So around the murder scene, Sephra, you can ascertain that a desperate struggle indeed took place several hours ago. Well, at this point, it's probably about 24 hours ago or so. And you can tell that one set of prints in particular is barefoot and reeks of rotten meat.
Okay.
Give me a quick second, I'm sorry.
So it seems like that I can see where there was a struggle here. One of these tracks is barefoot and it reeks of rotten.
Kind of meat.
I suspect the undead type, but I'll wait for Bella
I'll
to
ask
confirm.
God when she comes back.
Yeah. And now it looks like she was hinting at me to detect undead on Igor. I don't want to waste a fucking spell
Sorry.
slot. Welcome back.
So can I tell what type of meat? I actually have a racial trait that actually allows me to sniff out foes and track by smell. Can I discern anything?
I'm going to say no, only because I do not think your character has ever encountered this particular smell.
Does Sephra share this knowledge?
Yeah, that was what, when Wit was AFK, that's what I was saying, that, you know, I saw signs of a struggle and that one of the tracks was clearly barefoot and it reeked of rotten.
Okay, well, my role's in response to that, but I don't know if you want to deal with Marco's thing first, or Saska, or not Saska.
We can deal with yours first.
Let me do Marco real fast because it's quick. That door is open and it just leads out onto the pier. There's nothing like suspicious looking. That's an open door leading out onto the pier. Okay, so you're doing knowledge, religion, and concerned to like the smell.
Well, when she says
or-
rotten, when she conveys rotten meat, I don't know if Wolden would think this. I think he would, but I think undead. So I don't know. Being a holy dude, I think if I could determine the signs of an undead presence.
Okay. Yeah. So you definitely can identify the lingering stink. Is beyond that which a dead body can normally produce.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I'm just. What did you roll? Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna say you are pretty sure that the scent can be identified as coming from a ghast flesh.
A what? Sorry?
A ghast?
I don't know what that is. What does that mean?
Is that a type of undead?
out of character, because I don't know if your character would have the knowledge of. Well, I guess if you're identifying it, you would have to. So a ghast is basically a type of like ghoulish undead.
Ah. Do I know anything
They're-
about these?
they're
types of
yucky.
undead?
I don't know. Do you think you would have?
Well, first of all, consult my Lamashtu book. Is it in there?
No.
I mean, like, I'm just generally studying a holy text and stuff. Like, if I would I come across this in any of these in my past dealings of holy matters, or if not, then I don't. think I would know
Yeah,
anything.
I'll hold on. You would probably have general information.
Sorry,
like,
out of
not-
character, Jaeger. I could look up the character, but I'm asking to get in character knowledge. So I don't know why you're typing this stuff out. Unless Glitter knows.
Yeah, so I think you would have general information of what a ghast is. Like, you would know it's a type of undead. You would know it's very similar to like a ghoul type creature. Beyond that, I don't think you would have ever had any reason to like specifically seek out knowledge on it. So I'm gonna say you probably just know the basic info in character that you would get from like a religious text talking about undead.
Okay. So yeah, I'll convey that to the party. The smell
Okay.
reminds me of a ghast. I've only read of
Except for
them.
Miss Here's a ghost.
Similar. It's an undead creature.
What would you like me to roll to know about ghasts?
I think that's gonna be knowledge religion. Do I not have this music on repeat? Oh my lord. My kids are not being nice to me today.
Basically rolled the same as.
Yeah, so I mean Olden's role was like mostly for identifying the smell. So if you're now rolling just to sit here and go like recalling like what a ghast is, you would know decently about what it is. Like, you know it's undead, you know it's kind of like a ghoul. You would know all of the generic information of what a ghast is.
Okay. My next question is would I immediately go to? Could one of the guy who was here, what was his name, Ivor? Could he be infected? Because I remember we all felt like something was a little off.
You did feel like something was off, but you did not smell the same scent when around him.
Okay. I do share that with everyone that I suspected that, I thought, if it's a ghast, maybe Ivor could be infected, but I really don't know. Because I know that ghoulism can be transmitted.
So wait, sorry, you said this in character?
Yes, I did.
So then clearly the crazed foaming mouth is infected and we should warn them because he will turn into a ghoul then, right?
So I sort of, my eyes get real big and I say, that's a very good idea.
So after we're done here, we should head back immediately and deal with that.
Sephra, what are you doing?
So I'm looking at the other body. I'm assuming this is the one that's dismembered. I was trying to see. Basically, did the limbs look clean, like they were cleanly sawed apart, like the guy suggested? Maybe
let me tell you what the bodies are here and what you're seeing, because I haven't gotten a chance to kind of describe the bodies for you. So this one over here is what appears to be the female. So this looks like it must have been Katrine. And it does appear like you'd obviously, unless anyone wants to like roll a heal check to like try to discern exactly how she died, you can kind of see what Ivor was talking about. Like, she's just got all these. Okay, so yeah, Ulden, you look at her body and you're like, holy shit, she's mangled ruins. She was pushed into the flippin' log splitter.
But wait, sorry, we smell the ghast, but it doesn't appear she was killed by the ghast?
You smell the ghast, and well, because she saw the tracks and everything, you can smell the ghast, but her death appears to be that she was pushed into the logs.
Was she eaten?
Yeah, like, are any of
Teeth
her
marks.
parts...
I'm looking for teeth
yeah.
marks.
Because ghast, like, hunger for flesh or whatever, right? So...
Sorry, this baby is just not cooperating for me today. I'm gonna have to hold her. No, you do not see any teeth marks. It does not look like she was eaten. She just looks like she is super badly cut up from the log splitter.
Okay.
So Harker's body over here, and although it appears to be on the floor, he is actually affixed to the wall. So Harker's body has been horribly desecrated. The poor man has been affixed to the wall by several hooks normally used to hang machinery. The body is mutilated. The face is carved away, and the lower jaw is missing entirely. His bare chest is defaced as well, bearing a strange rune in the shape of a 7-pointed star.
I'm assuming when you
Say-
say, like, his things are missing, like, they look eaten away? Consumed away, or...
No, not necessarily. They are just gone.
Okay, next question. The 7-pointed star, that's a Sahedron. Is it the same as the Mashtu, or?
So that is the
Recognizable?
same star, the same Sahedron rune, but I'm trying to tell you guys that yes, you saw the Sahedron rune associated with Lamashtu before, but the Sahedron rune isn't specifically, it's not a Lamashtu specific symbol. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Obviously
We
the
also-
followers of Lamashtu were interested in it, but it's not, necessarily... I'm just trying to make sure you guys know that it's not like the Sahedron rune, instantly means this is Lamashtu,
Hey,
but yes.
if
the
I
people
want to
with
think it's
Lamashtu were.
Lamashtu, I'm going to think it's Lamashtu.
Okay, you think what you want. I'm
Well, you
making
said
sure
it's a
I'm not
common
giving
thing
misleading information.
Well, what you're saying is it's something that the followers use, right? So I mean, it could just be as simple as a symbol they use for their cold.
Yeah.
And so Sephra is just going to say to the party, we do also need to be careful that, we don't, just because we have just been dealing with Lamashtu, that we don't fall into the, trap of thinking that is what this is. We need to make sure that we're looking at every angle.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Olden, your heal check, where were you doing that at, and what for what?
Well, I specifically was looking at, like, his injuries and mutilations.
Okay,
like,
so you
is
were
it-
looking at Harker's body. I just
Yeah.
wanted to confirm
Yeah.
which. So you do. So your check reveals the presence of several additional wounds. Unlike the deeper slashes on the body, you see some smaller gashes, which almost seem to have been made by maybe claws of they look like 5-fingered human sized, but they look like claw marks.
So clearly
Um,
from the ghoul.
And you also note that the scent, the rotten scent, is stronger near these wounds.
And sorry, you said the removal of his flesh and stuff. Like, there's clearly a difference between, like, something being eaten and something being, like, cut. Like, is it fine
Yes,
cuts, or...
it does not appear like it does. There are no markings indicating it was eaten.
Okay. So yeah, I'll just reveal the smaller marks, and clearly these are made by the ghoul as well. There's been a ghoul here. But wait, the crazy guy was at the other place, not this place. So
Correct. The
this
crazy
is-
guy was at the first crime scene. This is the second crime scene.
But we did know that the other people were mutilated as well, so I don't know. Maybe there was a ghoul attacks on both these places, Wilden will say.
What is it we're next to here? Are those stairs?
No. Well, yeah, actually, yeah. There are stairs to a second level, I believe.
So above.
Yes.
But they said they only found 2 bodies here, right?
Yes. Also to note, you guys do see a hand axe oddly dropped on the on the floor near the log splitter.
Is there blood on it?
Did
Or...
it have blood on it?
Yes, so the handle is covered with bloody finger marks. And if you examine it a little closer, the head reveals 2 things. First, smears of what look like rotten flesh and fragments of bone are caked on its blade, and the rotten meat stink is extremely strong on here as well.
Okay, while they're doing that, I'm gonna detect magic, and I'm basically gonna just keep detecting magic and sort of spin in a circle.
You do not detect any magic.
Okay, anywhere. Like I said,
Anywhere.
okay. Well, I do on Marco. He's got magic.
Well, yeah. Obviously you'll detect some magic on your party members who have magical items, but coming from the actual sawmill, you do not detect magic anywhere else.
Okay.
Clearly, this axe was used in self-defense. They fought the ghoul, clearly. Did you want to just... I don't know what else you guys want to find.
Did we look upstairs?
Yeah, I was about to say, do you
You
want to
said
check
there was an
upstairs?
upstairs? Yeah. So which one of the bodies do we think was the one that was hung?
We don't need to
It
think.
was
We
the
see
man.
it hung.
You know that that's
This one.
Harker's body.
But that's the one that. So he's since he was hung, he's been lowered to the ground.
No,
then?
he hasn't yet.
No, the picture is deceiving. He's hung on the wall, but this is.
Okay.
I was just trying to get a general map for you guys, but it's not like 100% accurate.
So the girl was thrown onto the saw blade. I'm saying this out. Glitter's saying this out loud. So that the girl was thrown onto the saw blade, but we think the guy was hacked apart by the handsaw or hand axe.
No. The axe was used by one of them to hit the ghoul.
Really?
Because
I'd missed that.
when we were examining it, we noticed bits of undead flesh on it and bone and stuff. So clearly,
And where
Okay.
was the axe?
It's on the floor, kind of near the sawmill thing that Katrine was pushed and killed in. Yeah, so just in that general area.
Okay.
So,
So maybe she was
Do
an
we-
accidental death type thing. Like he and the ghoul were struggling, and they bumped into her or something, and then that's why he was torn.
I want to know if the man, are those drag marks that I see right there? Was he dragged over there and hung? Were they together when they were killed?
Don't go off of what the picture looks like for the specific bodies.
Okay.
This isn't a map that actually comes with like the pack I purchased. I just wanted a map for you guys to have for this so I could kind of clearly identify like where you were looking. So this is just a map that I put input on my own to give you guys a general sense of what you're looking at. The pictures of the actual bodies are not 100% accurate. Basically, the descriptions I gave you are what you want to go off of. Her body just looks extremely dismembered. You've gotten the idea that she was probably pushed into the sawmill. His body is hung on the wall by hooks that would normally hold machinery, and it was dismembered the way I told you. So he's not on the floor. They're
Fine.
not what drag marks, and you don't see drag marks on the floor. That you just see his body hung.
Are they separated like that though?
Yeah, they're not like right next to each other. They are
Okay.
kind of in different spots a little bit within the sawmill.
So, can I tell if they died in the same 10-foot area and he was dragged away from her?
I think you would need to make a heal check to determine that.
Okay, and I will say it out loud. Do we think they were they died together and he was dragged over here?
I don't know, Glitter. You tell us. You're a forensic expert, apparently.
That's a natural 20.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question. I'm just reading a little bit just to make sure that I'm not forgetting something.
So Glitter's kind of thinking out loud. So she comes here at night to meet with this guy, according to Ivor. They're bumping uglies. Okay? They are discovered by somebody. Okay? And in retaliation, she's pushed into the sawmill. Okay?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure your answer is they do not have. They appear to have died where their bodies are generally located. No one appears to have been moved.
Okay.
I'm looking to see if there's any track marks leading out this side door.
Out there, up towards the north?
Yep.
No, you do not see any track marks leading out that door.
What about the one below me? Since I'm just looking for tracks in general, really.
No, you don't see any tracks going out that door either.
Okay.
See, I think the two murders, for some reason, Glitter is he's thinking out loud. I think the two murders are completely unrelated. I think that she was coming here to meet with this guy over here, and somebody, like the father, discovered them and got really angry and pushed her into the saw blade. Okay, and then this guy up here, Benny, whatever, he was killed by the ghast or somebody else in retaliation of some kind, but I don't really know.
Wait, what? So after Dad kills daughter by accident, he runs away and the guy just chills there for a gas to show up? I don't understand the theory.
But I don't either. I'm just spitballing.
Okay. I do like the theory that maybe she was accidentally pushed in there or something. But the whole gas thing, it had to have happened. I think maybe in the struggle when they were fighting back, she fell back or something with the axe, hit the ghoul, and the ghoul pushed her into the thing. It chopped her up, and then the ghoul finished off the dude. That's what I think happened, maybe?
Okay.
I wonder if the ghast was in the middle of doing its thing with the guy when she showed up for their tryst, and then she tried to get away, and it caught up with her. She hit it with the axe, and then it pushed her into.
Wait, sorry. I think I overlooked something that Bella explained. Can you remind me? When I looked at the body of the dude, you said he was just like mutilated and cut up. But then when I looked closer, it looked like the ghoul had also attacked him, aside from the other marks.
Okay, so yes. So what you have found on Parker's body when you checked him out, you see that the body is mutilated. The face is carved away. The lower jaw is missing entirely. His bare chest is defaced with the Sahedron rune. And your closer examination revealed additional wounds that appeared to be they appeared to be smaller gashes that resemble like 5-finger claws.
Could I tell if these marks were made at a large time differential? Like if the blood looks more brownish on those marks?
With your heal check, you would have been able to determine that all of the wounds appear to look similar in terms of how long ago they had been made.
See, the first thing with the star, that sounds ritual. The second thing the gas could literally be incidental. He could have been drawn here by the smell, or maybe he was even part of the ritual.
Yeah, Glitter, you're good with note taking. Can you recreate? Do you have spare parchment or whatever? Can you draw this rune down so we can show someone in town maybe who's more expert in runes?
I can do that.
What the symbol means.
Yeah, you don't even have to waste ink. You can just use all this blood here.
Jesus, Marco. It's a little bit morbid. Did anyone want to check upstairs? What's going on upstairs? Can we check that out? Is there anything up there?
Upstairs is pretty much like a bare area. It looks like maybe might have been like where they like could take their breaks or something. Like it just looks like kind of a general, like I don't know how to describe it other than maybe just like a break room, like if you can envision that, right?
Okay.
There's a few windows that overlook the like pier area. There's nothing else. There's not really anything obvious to note. Like there's no bodies up here. There's no blood up here.
Mama.
Yeah.
Glitter's worried about motive. Like Katrine, she was sleeping with somebody who she shouldn't have been sleeping with.
Says
And then
you,
they were
Glitter.
both the person that
Why
she
shouldn't
was
she?
sleeping with.
Why shouldn't she be sleeping with him?
Look, I have no judgment here. Okay, I'm letting you know they come here to meet here at midnight. That's a clandestine meeting. Okay, it's not like they're meeting in the middle of the day.
So, out of character, when we were questioning the first guy, did he say something along the lines of like it's not fair or something like?
I don't
remember that.
Oh, like
I don't
towards
think
her
so.
when she was saying?
No. He basically confirmed to you guys that Katrine and Banny were in fact having midnight trysts. But he did not give any signs or feelings that he cared in any way, just confirmed that they were.
So
We never asked him how long he'd known, have we?
Why would that matter?
It would matter if he discovered it today. That means he stuck around. He might have saw more than he's obviously letting.
Are you saying he's a pervert? You watch them?
I mean, sometimes people are curious about other things. I mean, you just now learned of sex.
I was joking, Marco. I know of it.
We probably need to make our way to the sanitarium because I think that one guy is infected with ghoulism.
Okay, but before we do
that's
that,
a bad thing.
Sephra wants to try tracking outside to see if she can tell like which way the gas went or anything like that.
Okay. You do not see any prints leading out this way.
Nor do I smell anything. I'm assuming.
No.
Sephra, you're good at, you have keen eyes, right? Can you just do a look at, like, go through this entire place and make sure we didn't miss anything? AKA,
Of course.
like, check out the bodies. Like, I don't know if we actually physically said we're, like, searching them, but we'll try and look at them and see if they had anything on them or anything, or if there's anything around them, because we didn't really say we do, like, a perception check around to check everything. So, like, I think we just take our time going through these. I don't know if these are accurate, but these wood stacks, if there's anything hidden or anything like that.
So those are my two first ones for
I'm
the
just giving
girl,
them
second
guidance
ones
while
for the
they're
boy.
looking out.
Oh, okay.
Same, I'm doing one for each.
I'm making sure the axe is cleaned off because gas blood is really yucky.
Yep, so far your perceptions aren't getting you anything that you haven't already uncovered.
Is this something that we would want to take, or that we could take 20 on, or...
Why? You got a 22. And so did Marco.
My first one was a 14.
Oh, I didn't see that, sorry.
I was just wondering, is it something we want to take our time on, or would we just rather get to the sanitarium?
Well,
I mean,
Marco's
you could go either way. You could take your time.
Glitter is concerned. Okay? Because someone else turning into a ghoul, they can affect someone
Give me a
else. they can
second.
Affect someone else. So, if it matters, Glitter looks a little impatient.
Glitter, do you know how long it takes for one to succumb to become a ghoul?
Usually a day.
And this happened a few days ago, didn't it?
believe so.
Yes, that's why I'm concerned.
Okay, yeah, we should put this on pause then. If we didn't see anything, or we'll check out the other site after we go check on the potential ghoul boy.
I
Well, I guess-
suggest we bring some fire starter.
Why?
Let me ask you this: if it was a couple of days ago, then is 20 minutes one way or the other going to matter?
True. It might though. We might walk in just as we save a man's life.
He looks at you like he wants to say something else,
Welcome
but
back.
he's not.
All right, yeah. So I think we decided we're gonna, if their perceptions when we're looking around, everything doesn't see anything within the last few minutes, we're gonna rush to the sanatorium or whatever to make sure that dude's not a ghoul or people aren't dead.
So, the phrase "your lordship," does that spark anything with any of my knowledges? I have 7 in nobility.
Probably not.
Okay. And I can't remember, but for some reason I think you mentioned another city. Didn't you say there was another city? Like they came from another city?
All right, just out of an abundance of caution, I'm going to just have a look out on the pier.
Jaeger, your question, the thing about the other city was the first murder. The three guys, they were from a different city. They were from oh god, where was it? Blah 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 blah. Trouble.
Tarch, Leonard, and Gedman.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the city and thought it would have been in my highlighted stuff. I'm not seeing it. Please don't. I know. Oh my lord. Tonight out of all nights, my kids have to be just like complete terrors. Complete terrors. Blah 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 blah. I don't know why I'm not finding it right now. My brain's
It's okay.
like,
We can get
wonky,
back to it.
Okay, so Sephra.
Before we
Okay.
left, I wanted to
Yeah.
check the pier.
The pier. Okay, so you out here see a set of muddy footprints that leads from one end of the pier up to the mill.
So, like,
Um,
from this end of the pier, or like they got in off the
Yeah. Yeah, so the muddy footprints, appear to come from here and they lead to the mill. If you want to make me a survival check to go with that, you can try to discern more. Okay. So with that check, that you can tell that a barefoot human man from the footprints, that's what they appear to be, is a barefooted human man clambered up from the mud under the pier, crossed over to the mill, and then scaled the wall to the upper floor window.
Talk about your peeping Tom.
Well, we went upstairs and we looked around. We didn't see any mud or anything up there or prints of this guy.
Well, no one checked for prints up there.
Well, we said we looked around and did perception, no?
I didn't see anyone roll a perception for up there. I'm sorry if you did, I missed it. But
Okay.
I didn't see anyone actually roll anything for upstairs.
So that second perception is since I know that you went upstairs, I'm going back to look upstairs.
Okay, so you can see what appears like prints that would come through the window, pace around upstairs a little bit, and then would sort of lead down to this area. to the main floor.
I'm writing that down. Alright, so I am telling the group, hey guys, I see some muddy footprints, and I basically tell them exactly what I've found.
I'm not sure what to make of it, aside from the ghoul came from the water for some reason, and
Do ghasts, would they have human footprints, or were they once human? I don't know exactly. I don't know very much about ghasts.
So, Olden and Glitter would probably recall from their knowledge and studies that gas can kind of be created from infecting humanoids.
Okay.
So so a gas could have like kind of humanoid, sizes and features, and
Another question is, as we're looking around the mill, do we see any like evidence of like a love nest or anywhere like that they would have? I'm basically trying to find out, like, were they in the middle of a tryst, or was there anywhere that looks like that might be?
You didn't see anything that would point one way or the other.
Okay. Well, I suppose we should get on to the sanitarium, and we'll report this back to the sheriff.
let's do it.
So you said the sanitarium's like a day south or so?
So you guys aren't going to follow up on any of his other leads first before heading to the sanitarium?
As I said, this was only the second crime scene. We didn't even check.
Oh, that's right. We didn't go to the barn.
Yeah, we all knew that, but we were concerned that there was a potential ghoul forming at the other place. That's why we wanted to go there first.
You would have general information that the sanatorium has people who would know to look for these specific things. So, like, if it were to be a potential ghoul, the sanatorium would be the best place for this person to be.
Okay.
I'm just not trying to make you guys think that, like, if this person ends up being a ghoul or something, that they're just gonna, like, murder everyone. Like, I don't know, do what you want. Do what you want.
So in that case, do we want to go to the sanitarium, or do we want to look at the barn?
We should probably look at the other crime scene.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, so I don't have a map for the other crime scene. It was just so let's see, the Lost Coast Road. If you guys want to go to this map. Ugh, come on, game. Oh, please don't be spitting up on me.
Blech.
Okay, so the Lost Coast Road is this road. Oh, down here. So it's like just outside of town over there, is where they were found and this barn is located.
Can you ping the map again? I'm sorry.
Okay.
So also by water, and not very far, at least by river travel from the.
Okay, so you can check out the barn and see kind of where they were killed. But sorry, this is something that is my bad, and I forgot to mention. The bodies of these men are actually currently in the basement of the Sandpoint Garrison.
Well, we can give the barn a quick look, right? See if we come up with anything.
Yeah.
Alright.
Tracks.
So yeah, Sephra, you can identify tracks here that definitely resemble the same tracks you saw at the sawmill.
The whole barefoot thing.
Yes.
Alright. So this perception check, I'm looking around the room just to see if I notice anything in particular. I'm assuming there's probably like blood spatter and stuff where the body.
Yeah, sorry, I was just reading some more to figure out what information you. Okay, so yeah, so you see in one area a bunch of blood splatter, and then in another area you see a chair with some rope on the floor nearby.
I'm checking if I can smell that rotten flesh.
Yep, you definitely can kind of get the same whiff going here.
I'll let Ulden know.
Yeah. Our theory was right. The ghoul attacked both. Do we
What
think
is
it's multiple
the chair
ghouls
with
or
the
same?
rope? Do you think that they were holding something here?
Not sure.
Perhaps we should go to the garrison and look at the bodies, and see if any of them have rope marks around their wrists or.
Sounds like a good idea.
Any thoughts, Glitter?
I'm having trouble with my feet right now. They really hurt.
It's okay.
I think we should go. You're right. We should examine the bodies at least to see if the stars carved into the chest are the same.
All right. So I guess now we're gonna go look at the.
Okay. So you can travel back into town to the garrison. It's pretty close to like the sheriff's office where you talk to Ibor and Ven. So they just have this room where they currently have the three bodies being held in. The bodies are starting to cool.
All right. I'm going to roll perception as well as heal. I'm specifically looking to see if there's rope marks or anything.
Okay, so with those checks, with your heal check, that although decay's already started to set in, you can definitely tell that these bodies bear similar claw marks to the ones discovered on Harker's body, but you don't see any rope marks on them, but you do see similar claw marks. And then you also, with your perception, can, well, easily see, all of you really can, that these 3 bodies also have the 7-pointed star marking on their chest, the same as Harker's.
And how long do we think they've been dead?
Approximately like 2.5 days at this point.
Okay. So I will let everyone know that as far as I know, when you get killed by a ghoul, you rise the next night as a ghoul. And since it's been longer than that, I don't think we have anything to fear from these guys.
Well, hold on, and that means they weren't killed by a ghoul.
And I put my finger next to my nose and then point at you.
Well, that throws our theories off.
Well, but again,
well,
I'm
then
not,
make
I'm
me a
not
knowledge
positive.
religion check real fast.
Okay.
So, you know that to rise as a ghoul, you actually have to be bitten by a ghoul.
And I bet there's no teeth marks on these bodies.
Oh, okay.
You
so
do not see teeth marks.
I'll share that information then.
What if the ghoul's like cutting off flesh so that he can eat them, but not like
Are
turn?
ghouls intelligent enough to know to do that? I thought they were just like mindless zombies. I'm not sure.
Well, but ghasts are different. Ghasts are more dangerous, more cunning.
You could, because you would know general information about a ghast, you would know that they can actually have pretty high intelligence.
Okay. So then what is our theory of why this gas wanted to do this?
Do we have any? I look at Olden specifically and say, do we have any way of knowing if someone is undead? I know you're a man of the gods. Do you? Is there specifically a way of knowing someone if they're?
There is. Why?
Because when we were at the sheriff's station, I felt like there was something off about that one guy, and I don't know. I wonder.
Did any of
You
us
know-
smell an undead scent from him? You think he's strong enough to conceal that he's undead from the vision from us?
I mean, I wasn't really focused on smell. I was more focused on.
Trust me, you would notice the smell of an undead. If that smell we just smelt was very strong.
Yeah, you rolled checks before I could really tell you about the mill, but if you hadn't rolled checks right away, I would have been saying like you smell something rank, you just don't know what it is, but you rolled your checks so quickly that you figured out what it was like as soon as you smelled it.
So unless you suspect he's some powerful being to conceal that he's undead, I mean, it doesn't hurt. I can cast the spell to see if he is, but if he's strong enough to mask it that well, I doubt my low-level spell could detect it, maybe, but it's worth a try if you want.
It's the star. The star has to be the key. Does the star? So it's a Sihedron, but is it a stylized Sihedron? Is it something like that has a discernible pattern that I could go look up in the local library?
Well, you have a couple options if you want to try to discern more information about this star. The sheriff did make notes about potentially seeking out a local who might know more information. You could see if you know what local might have this information, or you could, hold on. This baby just does not want to cooperate with me right now, man.
We can ask the priest before we murder him.
I mean, we could just ask the sheriff. He clearly made the note and knows who to talk to.
He was not sure, actually, of what local. He just made the note of seeking out someone local who might have info, but had not collected that information yet. Or a knowledge, arcana, or history might give you more information.
It's Shana Lulu.
Right? Is it ukulele?
No. Shalalu was a goblin expert, not a Sihedron rune expert.
Would we think that, like, the priest, in all jokes aside, would we think that the priest would have more information on the Sihedron?
You're probably gonna need to find someone a little bit more specialized than just a general priest. And your knowledge arcana check, you're not quite certain. You don't know if anything you're recalling is really pertinent towards the Sihedron rune.
I look at the rest of the party and say, we can always just start, I want to go to Amiko and say, do you know any local rune experts?
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. We got to find. That's what I told you a while ago. That's why I told you
Okay,
to draw
so
the thing. We need to find an expert on this.
Sephra,
I'm rolling
You
local knowledge to see if I
now-
know.
you've been in town long enough to know that you heard of an expert on ancient ruins, named Brodert Queen. He moved to Sandpoint recently and lives. Oh my gosh. He lives in the shadows of the Old Light, the town's own Thessalonian ruin.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell the party. Actually, I don't think we need to go to Amiko. I actually heard about this guy named Brodert Queek, and he knows a lot about runes, so perhaps we should seek his.
Okay, I give her one of my devastating smiles and say, lead on. And I look at Olden like, is that okay?
Yes, this is what I suggested.
Seriously,
we should do.
Glitter thinks that Olden is the leader, so.
I'll remind you once again that I told us all that we should do this, and now we're doing it. So this is good.
I lead them to Brodert Queek.
"30-minute warning."
Sorry, I was just trying to figure out where exactly on the map it is for you guys, so I can just give you show you a loop. Sorry, I'm confused. It's not actually telling me where. Alright, I'll figure out where the heck it actually is later for you guys. I thought it would list it in this little area right here, but it. Oh, sorry, the old light is right here. This area. These are the old Thessalonian ruins called the Old Light. The Old Light. So he probably is in one of these buildings right over here.
Okay,
this
I will take
needs to be
the
used.
drawing that I made of the Sihedron, and then we'll head over.
Okay.
There.
I knock on his door.
Oh man, I'm having a heck of a time tonight. All right, so Broderick Quink is a human male. And he answers the door, and when you, I'm assuming, show him the picture of the rune and start asking him questions, he gets like super excited. Like he's obviously like this old historian kind of guy that doesn't really get to talk to people much about like the thing he decided to like study, right? So anytime anyone comes asking questions, he's like, oh, I get to talk to someone about the things I like. So he tells you what he knows about about this. And okay, so he tells you, unfortunately, most of the lore about ancient Thessalonian has been lost. But what does remain has been gathered from barely legible carvings on surviving monuments or extracted from myths, and like oral traditions of the Varisian seers and storytellers. What he does know is that the rune definitely was something important to the ancient Thessalonians. So it's not like particularly religious related, although some religions have adopted it for various reasons, but it actually originated from the Thessalonian like powerful wizards who ruled the empires. He says
Ooh.
the sheer size, um, the sheer size of the monuments they left behind is like a testament to their power. Like they must have been just like super powerful to create these enormous monuments, and the unnatural way many of these monuments have resisted erosion through the time. Like like there's these monuments left from this era that like still seem perfectly intact.
Glitter, you have a good memory, right?
Yeah.
What was the name of that wizard and that location we found? We thought it was a tribute to Lamashtu, but perhaps it was just desecrated by the followers of Lamashtu and it was originally this powerful wizard. And clearly, those symbols may be related to him. Do you remember his name? He was going on and on about his power and stuff in that room. Maybe this guy can tell us more about that.
While you try to see if you remember that, he also will tell you most sages place the height of the Thessalonian Empire at about 7,000 to 8,000 years ago, but Broderick personally thinks the empire is even older. He suspects it collapsed no sooner than about 10,000 years in the past. Um, Much of what Broderick has to say is vague theory based on conjecture, but the few things of interest about the star, namely, it seems to be one of the most important runes of Thessalonian. The star itself is known as the Sihedron rune and signifies not only the seven virtues of rule, generally agreed among scholars to have been wealth, fertility, honest pride, abundance, eager striving, righteous anger, and rest, but also the seven schools of magic recognized by the Thessalonian, divination, and so on. Uh, he also notes with a smirk that much of what is understood about Thessalonian indicates its leaders were far from virtuous, and he believes the classic mortal sins greed, lust, pride, gluttony, envy, wrath, sloth rose from corruption of the Thessalonian virtues of rule. In any event, the Sihedron rune was certainly a symbol of power, one that may have well stood for and symbolized the empire itself. And he believes the fact that it's been carved into flesh of its victims might point to the fact that the murderer is someone sort of a scholar. Although as soon as he says that, he like gets this look like, oh, but like of course I would never do anything like that.
Yeah, I don't suspect him at all. Like, the murderer wouldn't just tell us all the answers and then be like, oh yeah, by the way, it wasn't me.
Yes, it was Alasnus.
I got deep in thought, and then all of a sudden I go, Alasnist.
So,
So I just sort of out of character. What I got from that is he's saying that the seven-pointed star, the Sahedron, was a symbol of these Runelord people.
Yeah, so basically he's saying that the rune actually originated from basically these powerful wizards who rule the Thessalonian Empire, and it's kind of up in the air for what you want to feel, for what people decide, like kind of the star is known for. Some people say it's the seven virtues, some people say it's the seven school of magics, and some people actually believe that the seven deadly sins basically were like a perversion of the original seven virtues. Like when the Thessalonian Empire um, got corrupt, like the seven deadly sins came from the corruption of their seven virtues, basically.
Okay, so again, this is Glitter thinking out loud. So what we have here is a group of people who are committing murders that correspond with each of the seven deadly sins. Whereas the people who were killed that were the three people, what were they again? They were con artists. They could be greed, and then Katrine and her man could be lust. And I sort of look
That's
around like, anyone?
Yeah, that seems pretty obvious. So there's
yeah,
more murders to expect, I assume.
that's what it sounds like. Although it is interesting that nobody carved up Kareen's chest.
Perhaps the man was the one committing this sin of lust. Maybe he had a.
No, it was
I
the
don't know.
woman.
What?
It was the woman. It's always the woman.
Good one, Glitter. But I also find it that this connects with Lamashtu because clearly the followers of Lamashtu would like to take on that. The symbol is like the perversion of it, which sounds all so much like Lamashtu
But
all over that.
but
So
wait, remember that we found that rune well that was attuned to wrath, which is another of the deadly sins.
wait, what?
Remember the rune well that we found?
It was
And we
attuned to
destroyed it.
wrath.
It was a rune well of wrath. That's correct.
I thought it was just a rune well of Lamashtu. That's why we have to use holy water to destroy it.
Well, that's one of the ways of the destroy, but it was specifically attuned to wrath.
Sorry, I just want to forget this. Things can be attuned to like sins. Is that like a thing?
All I know is when Whitney described it to me when I made my roll, she said it was a rune well of wrath.
Okay, I don't remember.
Tasuto would be envy.
But he didn't have this sign carved into him.
I
But you're
know.
just saying his murder was related to this, maybe?
So I'm going to ask the guy who is the expert on the runes. So these rune lords, you said that nobody really knows if they were, and I'm making Glitter's making air quotes, attuned to any specific thing like
He
the
never
seven deadly
mentioned
sins
rune
or.
lords. He talked about Thessalonian Empire and powerful wizards.
Oh, okay.
So
But
what
then
you're
I'm sorry, I say powerful wizards.
Okay. So what are you asking him?
If the powerful wizards were each like, did they associate themselves with a specific, either one of the seven deadly sins or a virtue? Is there
He
anything
says
he can tell
not
me
that
on
he
that?
knows of. They were just powerful wizards, and the Sihi drawn rune was a very important symbol to them, but the not that he doesn't know of any wizards that were like particularly related to certain deadly sins.
Okay. How about the name Elasnist? Does that ring a bell? I ask him. I mean, so far, this is to the rest of the party. We've come across what looks like, I don't know. Maybe it's me jumping to conclusions, but at least what, three of the deadly sins, and a seven-pointed star, and there are seven deadly sins.
wait, which three besides the two that we seen?
Wrath,
Oh,
envy, greed. No, sorry, wrath, greed, and lust.
Yeah, but that doesn't really make sense to me. Just because 2 are murders, then one's just like a random well. Like, don't they all have to be like all murders or
So he
something?
will respond to you, Jaeger, in saying that he does recall an Elasnist that was a ancient Thessalonian wizard of sorts.
Okay.
He doesn't know much more on him other than that he was an ancient, one of the ancient wizards. Because again, it's hard to gather information about the Thessalonian Empire, and most of the things they get are from like monuments and such.
Does he happen to remember what because we found statues with a man and a glaive. Does that ring any bells with him? And this was in an underground temple supposedly dedicated to Elasnist. Because I think that's who the man with the glaive was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be this ancient wizard.
But no, wasn't this different from the projection, the illusion magic? That was supposed to be Elasmus. Were these the same depictions? I thought they were different.
You might be right.
Sorry, I'm just having to like research some of this a little
No worries.
because they give me limited information on what this guy. They don't give me like a lot of info on what this guy would know if you start asking him questions. So I'm having to do some of my own research to try to decide if I think he would know about this or not.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Well, out of character, I'm not quite sure where to go to next.
Well, yeah, I was
And I
just gonna
guess
ask
we
him.
can go. Go ahead.
Sorry, you go ahead.
I guess we can go down and talk to the guy in the sanitarium.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask him, but I don't know if we've exhausted his information, but just like if he can like confirm our theory, like oh yeah, like clearly followers of Lamashtu would hang on to this symbol because you said they like the desecration angle to it, and this all makes sense, and we would just describe the temple that we found and all that, and see.
So as far as a man with a glaive, he will let you know that a man with a glaive could be many people from the Thessalonian Empire, but the main one to note that may have been a man with a glaive would have been Karzog, and he was basically the final ruler of Thessalonian before whatever you want it before it fell.
That makes sense. Do we have in our possession something that we got from that archaeologist that we murdered? Or did we let her go? I don't remember.
You killed her. She asked to die.
Oh, that's right. Didn't she have some artifact that she was trying to figure out what it did or something, and we took it?
She was studying artifact stuff on paperwork, which was
we have that
mainly
paperwork?
yeah, I believe you handed it all over to the sheriff unless you specifically chose to keep anything.
Okay.
I will tell him that there are paperwork with the sheriff that he may be interested in that has to do with ancient archaeology, the Losian stuff that was being studied. Perhaps he would take interest in that.
He seems super excited about it.
And if he could discover anything related, like we go through this whole like murder investigation with him, seeing if he has any like thoughts on it. Like clearly these like does he agree with our theory that people are recreating like these sins, or does he think of like does he have any like thoughts on this whole thing?
He doesn't really have any thoughts on it. He's really not much of a murder investigator. He only knows he studies Thessalonian Empire, and murder investigations are pretty foreign to him. But he will let you know that like it is possible that Lamashtu followers would kind of attach themselves to the Sahedron rune just for the like, yeah, the perversion of like the deadly sins, and just because they're chaotic, like they could become involved with it, but it's not necessarily like directly related to them. But it wouldn't be unheard of for like followers of any um potentially like chaotic or evil-ish religion to be interested in the Sahedron rune.
And then my final question is to him: has he heard of any ritualistic things that this symbol could be a part of? Because there's a part of Ulden that thinks that perhaps these ancient lords of these runes may be trying to rise again. Hence, rising of the Rune Lords. Ulden says.
Not to his knowledge. He's never heard of any particular rituals that would accompany these runes. But again, he will remind you that he mostly studies old, ancient Thessalonian Empire things and really has not seen anything related to the Thessalonian Empire come up in present day sort of dealings and in his time of being a researcher.
All right. I've exhausted my questions. If I don't know if anyone else has anything.
So I think we need to go talk to the fevered guy and see what he knows about the whole. I mean, he was hired to do something, right?
Well, he's crazy now, so good luck with
Bodyguard.
that.
I don't know where else to go at this
No,
point.
yeah, we definitely have to go there, but I don't know if we can question him. He's probably going to be delirious. But we do have to go there regardless, so we can see what else we can find from there. And then maybe we circle back with the sheriff with what we found and then maybe bounce some ideas off him.
So I think on our way we should stop by the sheriff's office and just tell him that we think ghouls are involved.
Yeah, so you guys could like stop by the sheriff's office, probably like chat with him, and maybe rest for the night, because this has probably taken quite a few hours between all of the different places you've gone, all the different people you've questioned. It's probably like mid to late afternoon now. And we can start up next session with you guys heading straight to the sanatorium.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Before I go to
Sounds
bed, I
good to
cast
me.
Detect Undead on that dude.
You do not detect undead on him.
I spit in his
Iber,
face. No, I'm
that's who
joking.
you're right.
Yeah.
Iber?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do not detect undead on him.
I cast Channel Energy on myself and see if he gets hurt.
He does not get hurt.
Okay. He gets healed for 11 points of thing.
Look at you, like all free magic casting in the city, like right in front of the ship.
It's in the jail. They're in a jail cell.
How's he
No one's
doing, by
around.
the way? Have either one of their conditions changed?
Nope, neither one of them appears to be exhibiting any signs of being sick. They're just obviously the father shows signs of grief and anger and sadness all mixed up into one, and the other guy is just like irritated and probably sick of being in a jail cell.
Who is his
What are
nearest
you doing?
ally? I want to. I'm joking.
Jeez.
That's actually a smart thing to do. You can see who their nearest ally is.
Are
I'm
you
not
actually
actually
doing
no, I'm
that?
not actually doing
Okay, I'm like, I don't fucking know.
I know, I'm just fucking around.
Okay, you want your XP for today?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
I'll take John's share.
Sure.
So it's gonna be a light XP day because this is mostly just like kind of like storyline clue figuring out XP, which is obviously not as hefty as
All good.
Yeah, 3,000 sounds about right.
so you get 400 for identifying the Sahedron rune. You don't get 600 for figuring out that the murderer might be undead.
How much
Um,
for figuring out the rising of the Runelords?
I mean, it's in the title. How hard did
I
you have?
put it together.
another 600.
For
That was basically for learning about the history and shit of the Sticky-tron rune. I think that's all of the XP for today.
1,600.
Split.
Or 400 apiece.
Yee.
Sounds good. Sorry I wasn't too active. My feet are really bothering me right now.
That's okay. It was a rough night for me too. My kids are not
Uh,
cooperating. Charlie kept being like, he like kept wanting me to let Everly come down and crawl with him, so I do. And like 2 minutes later, she starts like screaming her head off, and Charlie's like, nope, I'm gonna go play by myself now.
that levels us.
No, 4,000 from Lex level.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm just tired.
Special.
Psych.
She was testing us.
I was like,
seeing if we could. She was
didn't you
testing.
just level?
We're level 6 now, bitch.
No.
I was seeing 400 and thinking 4,000. Like that levels us. What? Sorry,
I wish I could do that with
I'm
everything.
tired.
Just add an extra 0 here and there.
Oh, while we've got everyone here, what do we want to do this weekend?
Saturday would be the best for Jose because he doesn't work Sunday. So